So I think if I had to be honest, I'll probably backtrack a bit. I almost wanted to say my digital or cloud journey started before PKF Ignite. I'm formerly from BDO, and that's basically where I was introduced to Xero and cloud. And we just really, I just saw these new applications. So when I say new to South Africa or new to me, obviously not new, as really a great way to really go that step further and really improve our service levels and really add that value to the client. So I immediately saw the benefit that the cloud and things like Dext and Xero could bring to us, the firm, and to our clients. And that's basically how it started. And I mean, how it changed our business. It's completely revolutionized our practices because it's out with the old and in with the new. I almost wanted to say the way we work, the way we deal with our clients, the way we talk to each other, the way we interact with each other has completely changed. So it was new operating procedures, it was new tech adoption, yes, but it was a complete new way of doing things with our clients. So there was a massive education for our staff and our clients because we completely changed the way we interacted with them. So it was almost like starting new practices. And I think, me being involved in the bigger firms, it's probably a bit more, or it's a bit slower to the smaller guys because they're slightly more agile and less red tape. But I think also it would have been easier to start new firms than having these traditional firms and legacy processes, etc. It's probably easier just to start a new thing, if I can say that. But yeah, it's been a massive journey, but it's an exciting journey. You're changing the client's business. You kind of you really, I don't know, because I got into this field to really help people. That's what I like to do. And also I love helping my staff and kind of growing them and that type of thing and preparing them for the outside world for when they go into commerce. And I think this has also been a big change for them, but it's also made their jobs exciting again. The way they do things, the way they now interact with the clients, how much closer we get to the clients, and you really get stuck into the detail now of how the client's business works and what is the client's business goals. You're able to actually help them achieve those goals now, where back in the day you basically bogged down with compliance and just trying to get the compliance aspect of the engagement done. So it's been a massive change, but it's been good and fun. So for me personally, I can say, I thought the clients would be the most difficult to convince and kind of get there, but it's the staff, the change man, and convincing the staff, always selling them their dream and getting them on board. That was actually more difficult than the clients. The clients I suppose, and they immediately saw the benefit to their businesses and how it would change them, and they were on board. The staff, I think, as accountants, you're really reluctant to change. So that's a personality trait. But so I think that was the biggest hurdle, is getting all the staff buy-in, because everybody is different. So everybody took their own time in getting there, and you just had to keep on kind of motivating and reiterating why we're doing this. The why is very important to kind of get them all there. And so that to me was definitely, if I had known that, I would have spent a lot more time in preparing the staff and kind of getting them comfortable with the change. Absolutely. Look, I think our industry has changed a lot with new tech and digital adoption, but also what our clients want from us is changing. And so I definitely think the role of the accountant, that soft skill, when I was on the Dext webinar couple of months ago where we spoke about the next generation accountant. 100%. Yes, you need you need a skill set, and yes, you need to love new tech and be able to adopt to technology and understand it. But I think there's going to be a bigger focus on the soft skills. How good are you at communicating? Can you make a connection with your client? Those type of skills are becoming a lot more important, because you really, you get so involved in your client's business, and the client often, you become like their sounding board, and sometimes they want to phone and you just have to listen. They want to complain and get stuff off their chest. Other times you need to give them advice. It really does depend. So you need to be able to have that skill set. You can't just be a numbers person anymore that want to be left alone, do your thing. You need to have those soft skills, absolutely. Yeah, so I won't say it's really, if I had to pick extra services, I would say things like cash flow projections and business advice, not necessarily just keeping the client compliant, but it's more a case of, I think our clients just want more intention in general. It's simple help, or maybe it's just a half an hour a month check-in with the client. How things are going. It doesn't have to be fancy graphs and accounts and all of this, but a simple health check and just more attention. That's all, my opinion. That's all the changes that I'm seeing. I always say they just want more love from us. Just want to feel loved. Yes, yeah, and I think it's, because us as a whole, society as a whole, we're so used to getting information at our fingertips. We're not used to waiting or having to go to this for that, get that information from there. So yes, this whole new tech, they now have that information at their fingertips, but now they need the help. What do I do with this information? What does this information mean to me and my business? And that's kind of where we come in. So yes, there's also an educational aspect for the client. You need to be able to now explain these numbers to them and explain to them what it means to their business, and help them say, okay, if this is what you've got, if you want to accomplish X, Y, and Z in 5 years, this is how we're going to have to get you there. Oh no, I think there's a lot more to come. I think everybody's probably at different stages. I can just say with Ignite, it's a constant evolving offering. We constantly changing applications, adding applications, and because it's all also about the client. So we try to stay agnostic, and it's really what the client needs. And I think in general, that would be the same for the other professions. I think some guys will say, listen, we specialize in these industries and this is what we do. So I've got this and this tech, but it's changing the whole time. So it's a constant moving, fast-paced moving. So you really have to be agile if you want to be in the industry now. And you really can't struggle with change. You need to make decisions quick to kind of get your firm there, get your practice there, and get your client there, which is ultimately what you're trying to do, is business success for the client. This is a joke, but just, I don't know, using the word soft skills or in the same sentence as accountant, I suppose. The biggest innovation, that's actually a hard one for me to answer. I don't know what I would pick. The best innovation would be if we could lose timesheets. A lot of people have done that, but the dreaded timesheet would be amazing. I don't think it's the biggest innovation, but I think the best thing that could have happened to us is the new tech, because it was a wake-up call for us. We were so used to it, for everyone. We were so used to just swimming in this lane and doing things this way and kind of dictating this and this. And, the apple cart's been upset a bit. And that's a good thing. Change is good, and different perspectives, it's good. So it's actually woken us up and said, listen, we now have the opportunity to do X, Y, and Z, and we have to do it if we want to remain relevant in the market and actually help our clients. So I think this almost like digital revolution is the best thing that could have happened. So a couple of years ago, it was all about cloud technology, adding all this new tech. And I mean, it is amazing and it's changed our industry, but it's just the tool. You still need to know what to do with that tool and how to help your client. Otherwise, it's just changing software, and anybody can do that. So absolutely. So I think it's important that constant change and changing things up is be okay with the fact that you're going to make mistakes, because you are, and that's fine as long as you learn something from it. So, I think for me personally, I've always been, maybe because I'm a very curious person, so I'm always curious about new stuff. So change doesn't really affect me. I'm open to change, but I have to always take a step back and say, okay, but remember, not everybody's like that. Everybody's different. Everybody adapts at different paces. So definitely from a staff perspective, is you almost just have to roll with the punches, and you need to just keep on looking, is this the right decision for your client and for your business? And then you kind of just manage the change process, make sure that you're clear and transparent with your staff. Again, the why, so important. And be totally honest with them. It's like, we did this, wasn't the right thing, but it's okay, we'll be fine. We're now going to try this. And I think that's also where the type of staff member that you're now getting is different. So you need a accountant who isn't afraid of change and to try new things, and that are quite dynamic. So I definitely think there's a mind shift in the personality of the type of accountant that you're going to be employing in your staff in the future. If you're in this advisory space, audit will be audit forever, but that's a very different set of skills. Look, you have to sell it to the client, but it's a different conversation with my staff versus the client. So when I'm talking to my client, you focus on what the tech's going to do for their business, how it's going to help them make decisions, versus whether you're talking to the staff, you're talking about, yes, you're telling them what it's going to do to the client, but you're telling them in a day-to-day basis what change it's going to make to their lives. Because you have to kind of sell the dream, the why it's better for the firm, why it's better for the client, and why it's better for them in order to get them on board. Definitely for the staff, and I think, okay, so definitely for the staff, selling the dream is, it's growing them, it's giving them better responsibility and exposing them to avenues they haven't been exposed to before. So it's that personal growth and the connection they're getting with the client. But then, you also need to be conscious when you're doing this whole thing that not all the staff want to do that. So that's also, it might not, these things are going, my emails are going crazy. It might not always be a popular thing to say or a nice thing to say, but when you're going on this route, you need to be conscious of the fact that you might lose good traditional staff, because some people would just say, at the stage of life that I'm in, I'm not interested in this. I want to do my thing the way I know, and that happens. So you need to be open about that. But generally, especially the younger people, they want to learn new things, and it's easy for them to adopt the tech, and they want to be challenged. So it's easy to sell the dream. And then for the clients, it's the business efficiencies that they're getting, how they can now change and interact with their customer. The fact that it's so easy to move them to an online portal, to connect the website, things like that. The business aspect of it is almost like an easier dream to sell. So look, to me, the competitors for me is not the big firms. It's the small guys, because they're so much more agile, and it's so much quicker for them to make a decision. I believe they are real competition. And, we were quite upfront, and we made this upfront decision that because there are so many applications in this ecosystem, you cannot be an expert on all of them. Even if you just pick 2 or 3 industries, there's so many applications within that industry, and the applications are constantly changing. So we've got a core app stack within our Ignite offering that we host nationally, so that we believe that we can do our, the generally on the client, the general of the client. So we've got the accounting, we've got the decks, we've got a reporting app, we've got a payroll app. And yes, we are branching out into the app marketplace. So maybe picking 2 industries. What we actually trying to do is, because we've got all these firms nationally, is to kind of create these service centers of excellence within a firm. So that's what we're working on for the next 2 years, is for each firm to pick industries and kind of upskill themselves and be able to do those applications. Because I've seen that in South Africa. I don't know about the rest of the world. These app implementation specialists that can implement all these Xero applications is really popular, and there's a real business need in South Africa for that. So we will be focusing on that. And I think competitor-wise, the bigger guys are kind of in our space with the number of tech that they've got. I think we probably have a little bit more because we're slightly smaller. But then the smaller guys definitely have that skill set of they're able to handle an inventory or a retail, where we're not quite there yet, because it does take longer in the bigger firms. Look, I think there'll always be a space for the bigger firms, because there are just some clients that attach value to that name because of the level of expertise you get. And that's not to say you don't get it in the small firms, but there is that brand that you're associated with that really leans some weight. I think the smaller guys, because of our strict independence rules we've got in South Africa, there's definitely a space for those guys, because there's a lot of work we can't do due to independence, and you need to outsource it. So I think there's definitely a space for both. What is changing is the type of work. Like I say, like accountants are now almost morphing into these IT people, where we're doing all these app implementations, where you might not do any accounting or advisory work. You're literally implementing systems, training the staff to use these systems, and you're out of there. And then you've got this other avenue of work where you're moving more to advisory. I think that's also changing. People need more help, they need more advice versus purely compliance or audit services.